What is up, DTube Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk about why long-form content is the future. And it may seem obvious, especially for video creators, where, let's take YouTube. We look at the length of the content. A couple of years ago, you couldn't even upload about 10 minutes or 50 minutes. And then, that was around 10 years ago. And then they tweaked that, and then you could upload over 50 minutes or so. But YouTube started with 2 to 3 minute videos, and then it just kept on increasing. And now it's mainly long form content that a lot of people want to consume. We see that also on DTube, how videos are getting longer and longer. Some form of content are even 1 hour. But I want to dive a little bit deeper into this because I think that this is something that has to do with all forms of content. So even text-based content, why I think it has been struggling a little bit on the Steam blockchain, why the model seems to be struggling a lot is because I think that people feel that they're not really getting the value from the text that they want. So there is no real incentive to curate it. While on videos, there is so much obvious value that it gives you massive value, video, because it's so long, it's so engaging, it's so fun, it's so human, it's so genuine, it's so authentic, and it's so natural. Exactly all the things that people want. Now, what I think text needs to have, so right now I think a lot of articles are maybe 300 to 500 words long. Sometimes it's even less. Where I think that what the market wants is between 3,000 to 5,000 word articles. And I try this with voice. For example, one of the reasons why we do a lot of voice, a lot of audio stuff, a lot of video stuff is because you can communicate much faster. And we want to save time and energy as humans, so that's why video has become a lot of superior. So I did check this once. 10 minutes of talking for me, I think when I measured it, it was around 1,000 words. So what I think that means, what I basically think that means is that articles, like what the market wants, is around 2,000 to 5,000 word articles. And it might sound like massive, but if you really consider it, if a person just do one a day, it's fairly easy to get up to. It's just that humans have to sort of change their mindset of, I think a lot of people in many ways unconsciously are considering a lot of scarcity when it comes to words. That, okay, wait a second, if I give away a lot, then I have nothing the next day. Well, it's actually the opposite. Like, the more you give, the more you can receive, and the more ideas you get. And then you see, okay, I already covered this idea. Can we go a little bit more in depth in another idea? And when people get their text out, they see exactly what they have covered, and they can sort of go more in depth into niche sections and actually create niche long form content. And then it becomes very, very obvious that a person want to reciprocate. If they read a 5,000 word article and they feel that there's so much value given, they're going to find a way to reciprocate. And I think that is eventually where the whole market is going. I think in many ways short form content is sort of going to die off in many ways. I may be wrong about that, but observing the market, I would say that that's eventually going to be the case, because what happens is when everyone has access to the same level of data, people want to use more exclusive experiences. Either exclusive by watching a human on a video, it's pretty exclusive because they get some niche form of content that's kind of long form, but it's very human, right? And I think that people like that. And in text, they really want really in-depth niche stuff where they see a human has really invested, has really done a research to create something that is really great. And just because humans want to save time and energy, it makes sense of, instead of doing a lot of short stuff, instead of like trying to spread it out, do one big piece a day or something like that, because then people get this feeling of, okay, this is a nice little package of fun information that maybe takes around 30 minutes to consume. Then they can do it to their breakfast, coffee, dinner, whatever. But I think that is eventually what people like. I think that is also one of the reasons why people like conferences and PDFs and white papers, because it is kind of like it's kind of like a cookie or something. It's like a long lasting cookie that is not just this little small thing. Like, does anyone really want a little bit of value, or do they want massive value? I think that people want massive value. So I do believe that there is potential for text to become huge in the future. We sort of see that people are sort of trying a little bit, playing around with it a little bit on the internet now. For example, Medium creates pretty decent stuff, but it's not enough. I would say if Medium articles was 2 to 3 times longer, then it would be pretty epic. But then again, it should also sort of be free. So I noticed that Medium is sort of also trying to make this subscription model, which I don't think is the way to go. I think the way to go is to have that kind, like super quality articles, 2,000 to 5,000 word long on the Steam blockchain. And then if people really want to reciprocate after they read all that, they will. And it's gonna be original stuff. And that is going to be interesting. And this is actually what should be on a trending page, not stuff that people have gone over 1,000 times, but in-depth niche stuff. That would be super, super cool. And I think that is eventually going to come, because I mean, sometimes on a blog, maybe I go read on Mark Manson blog or whatever. He has a great way of writing stuff in his blog, free articles. And the feeling you get when you have read something amazing, someone that is giving massive value, is you want to give something back, right? You want to give them something. And then it doesn't become a question about curation, oh, nobody's curating, stuff like that, but it becomes automatically that people curate amazing stuff, because it's a mutual agreement. Okay, this is massive value. And that's a thing that I think internet's going to move more into that direction. Long form content and that not everything has to be mega quick, because that was a big thing that came with the clickbait world, where every page view is an ad. And so we just have to we have this genius idea. We're just going to make super small articles that doesn't bring much value, but makes it so a person has to refresh the page 1 billion times, and then we make 1 billion in ads. But now we realize, wait a sec, we can do way more value by removing this kind of shady clickbait thing and just have a token that is more clean, that doesn't ruin the interface, and that has all stuff on one page. So we don't always have to refresh. We don't have to look for 15 new articles, 100 new articles per day. We don't have to go to 100 websites per day. We can have maybe 2 to 3 cool articles that we read during the day. And that also makes it so we don't have to we don't have to use the internet so much, because when we have the interesting value, this is also one of the reasons why podcasts became so big. It's because when people have sort of the cool value, they don't have to go to so many websites, go and look for value, because the value is gonna just be there. And that is basically where I think stuff eventually is going. Because I never really seen an amazing article that didn't get rewarded. Because even if you didn't have a token system, if you do something amazing, eventually someone's going to discover it. Someone's going to look, if they see you do something amazing, you give them something amazing, they're going to look up, oh, is this person doing more value, right? Are they doing more stuff? Are they doing more interesting stuff? Is it easy to access this person? Are they speaking at places or whatever? So that is kind of cool. I think that's going to be great. And a lot of services right now are not really focusing on developing platforms for this specific thing. So, I mean, if you just look at Instagram, one of the big problems with Instagram is that that when it started, it was kind of cool with photos and stuff like that. But now, when everyone's sort of seen the same thing, it's not that interesting anymore. It's more like, how can we make more value? And is just a basic photo, is that massive value, or have we seen this so much that is not really a big thing? Like, yeah, we could take a photo of a tree and we can put it on the internet, but do we really have to do this? Or should we try to develop really amazing long form content that really tries to cover specific niches that someone else hasn't really covered yet? Because there would be not that much point in trying to do something that someone else already have done, right? So there's a lot of interesting points at this. For example, response articles to something else. It's very inclusive because it includes other people. It's free marketing for them at the same time as maybe you cover something in a different perspective, in a different light, or something like that. So for example, if someone does an amazing article, you can both promote that article at the same time as you do an equally amazing article that is basically writing your view on the original article at the same time as you're linking to it, at the same time as you're just creating more of a win-win thing, which is kind of cool. You don't have to do everything yourself now. A lot of stuff is already been taken care of. It's like everything becomes like a remote control. Like you don't even have to. You can remote control smartphones. You can remote control the remote control. You can remote control a smartphone with a screen, or if you have internet access somewhere else. You can remote control a phone without even having it in your hand. So everything. So you would be able to remote control everything, like every aspect, which is kind of cool because then you have very interesting leverage. Because right now, even if you look at a lot of social media, it's just tapping around. It's like you can have someone else do that, or the people working with bots to automate a lot of tasks. That's just going to increase, right? That's just going to increase. A lot of useful tools are going to come out with AI that can summarize things in text and also put it out. So that's kind of interesting as well. So, and remember, like, writing something is free. It's free to create value. Yes, it takes some time and energy, but in general, it's pretty free. And it can generate something. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So why not? And this is also the thing, like, we should consider that when we get someone's attention, realize that it's very scarce. So we should probably try to pack in as much value when the attention is there, because it can be very fickle. It can go away quite fast if you don't have a constant flow of interesting, exciting stuff. So what I think eventually is going to happen with most of the text-based content is it's all going to be free. So right now a lot of media is trying to make you pay for it. I don't really see that last. But the text is going to be very exclusive. It's going to be long. It's going to be in depth. It's going to be exactly niche-based content that a person wants, and that's going to be very interesting because it really is going to change the way people use the internet. Same as the way many people use music right now, where they mainly use listen in the background. It's like when you cross connect everything. So eventually you're probably going to be able to have all the amazing text, when you have amazing text, be able to have it read to you. And that's very interesting. So that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about today. That all the short form stuff, people are very disappointed with it. Because it's like, why waste time on this? People become very time sensitive, where they look at, well, in this on-demand economy, why should I spend my time here when I can do something else that produces more value, that is more engaging, that is more interesting? And yeah, that's just what I want to talk a little bit about today, because I always get excited when I find an amazing article, because I keep go back to it because it's almost like a poetic thing when someone has created an amazing piece with amazing photos, because it's so rare. It's so rare that people really craft something amazing. But when something amazing is crafted, either video, photo, or yeah, photos can also be that. But I think that photos, for example, should be combined with something interesting, some interesting story, something that engages. Yeah, that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. I think all the short form text is going to fade away because it's just boring and it's not in depth and it's not really usually what a person is looking for. And long form stuff is basically going to consume people's attention eventually. So a person's eyes are going to move to what gives the most value, right? So yeah, and it just inspires people also. Short form text, it shows that a person wasn't really probably that invested in something, so it's kind of boring. It's not that inspiring. Yeah, what I want to talk a little bit about today. Hopefully you enjoyed, and have a great day, YouTube and the Steam blockchain. Bye bye.